Hello and welcome to Extra Time, a supplemental segment of the GamePitch podcast. We drop every Mondays. I'm here with JD. What's up?
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Extra Time. We have some absolutely insane stories to talk about this week.
Yeah, so these stories are not the most garbo, but they're the ones that did not make it into the show. We only can pick 11 every week, and so these are the leftovers. These are the backwash, if it were.
Oh, well, that's disgusting. And speaking of disgusting, let's talk about our first story this week, which was a hilarious video that is circulating Twitter of Animal Crossing. So they added in a more recent update the ability to have art. And so one of the statues that you can get is Michelangelo in full uncensored glory. And so in this video, what villager is this that's walking up and taking the photo?
I have no idea, but it is by far
one of the cat ones.
Yeah, one of the cats. But it's just the pacing of the video. It is perfection.
He walks up to the statue of Michelangelo, stops, puts away his bug net, takes out his cell phone, points it directly at his crotch, and takes a photo, and then smiles at looking at the photo, and then walks away. It is so well composed. I can't believe it happened naturally in this game. But the best part about it is the top reply on Twitter to it is just a screenshot of the little cat looking at it with huge words that say "nice cock" just plastered all over it, which is why I wanted to lead off with this story this week.
Well, thank you for leading off with the junk, going pelvic forward into our stories here. So my first story that I unfortunately have to talk about, it's just Diablo 4. I'm a fan of Diablo just in general, but there were some recent playtesters kind of doing some behind the scenes stuff. And one of the things that has kind of trickled out is that it has an open world. And anytime someone's just like, hey, we're taking this linear story game that you like and we're making it open world, I'm immediately like, no. Please no. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Why? I hate you. I hate this. Why? So
it's not very good, and I'm not very excited for it, sadly. And so I don't think we're going to talk more about it. But instead, what we're going to talk about is Crash Bandicoot 4. It's About Time game that we talked about on the pod last week. They have announced that potentially there's going to be about 100 levels in this game, which I think definitely justifies the cost to launch this at a full $60 price point. 100 levels? That is nuts. That's massive.
it's the same thing when someone's like, we've got this massive open world. If someone said to me, we've got 50 Crash Bandicoot levels, I'd be like, man, that's maybe a little too many. That's maybe a little too many for me. Like that's like at my upper limit of how many Crash Bandicoot levels I want.
What about 100?
Tell you what, JD, hard out. Like 100. What?
I think the original Crash games all had like 20 levels, and so
I'm trying to think. Like, there's no way it was more than 37. Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to do the math in my head. It's like each world was like 6 or 5 or 4. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. It wasn't much. It was not much. So moving from 100 levels to the wonderful 101. So we're just doing that +1 here. The Kickstarter backers of the wonderful 101. Some haven't even received the game yet when it's like digitally available. Like there's some bonkers stuff happening with this. They have mismanaged this Kickstarter in every way possible. And I can't even think of a video game Kickstarter that has actually like from a major game or like someone like a real studio like going to this platform actually ending well, but they've been hit with these massive unpaid customs and handling fees upwards of €70 or €17. So it's like someone who paid, they're being charged like $50 for the game when they paid like 32. It's just like, why are these fees coming from us? They should have come from the shipper, from the publisher. And
right.
There's just all this like backwards nonsense, especially when you're in a different region. So I feel bad for the backers. They're just getting like abused.
They're getting wrecked, honestly. Can you imagine the absolute delay for this game to begin with? Like, they're getting charged a 17-pound customs fee for a game they don't even have yet.
It's just like, here, give us more money. It's like, I already gave you money for a game I already own.
Oh, let's move on. So
terrible 101.
The horrible, no good 101. The next, moving on, Retro Studios, which is a Nintendo subsidiary that's based out in Austin. The rumor is apparently they're working on Metroid Prime 4, and they have just hired a lead developer that used to work for Treyarch, which did a bunch of the Call of Duty games. And do you think this points to the direction that this next Metroid Prime game is going to take? Is it going to be like a Metroid Prime Battle Royale?
Oh God, no! Why would you say the? This is like the whole thing again, where I'm just like, man, Diablo. I want it to be linear story, just open world, and now it's just like Metroid Prime Battle Royale. Actually, wait a minute. Okay,
You want
I'm
it?
being a hypocrite right now. I kind of want an open world. Like if it's the whole planet and they just let me. Okay, now see, here I am, a hypocrite. I suck.
I knew it.
You say open world Metroid Prime game, and I'm like, actually, but no, like they're hiring a lot of talent. Like they are real. Like they've got like a lot of heavy hitters from a lot of different studios, which is interesting.
They've hired quite a bit of talent, and they still have a lot more job postings still. But yeah, they've hired people who worked on Halo, a couple people who worked on Crysis, someone that worked on Borderlands and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which were both great games. So yeah, I'm curious to see how this shapes up. But it definitely seems like Retro Studios and in conjunction Nintendo are putting a lot of money on the talent side of this.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's like one of those things where I've loved every Metroid Prime game, but just to see again a leap in it being more modern and have more power behind it, because Retro has always got the most juice out of whatever tech they were on, and you're like, man, this looks way better than what this system should be able to do.
Yeah, me too. Tell me about this next story. Are you excited for this?
No, man. I mean, look, we walked enough miles in the Norman Reedus, there's too much Norman Reedus in the world. So what's happening and why I'm so unexcited is that there are rumors of a Death Stranding sequel. I know a lot of people liked it. Commercially, it did fine, not gangbusters, but you wouldn't have thought that Sony would greenlight this. But Hideo recently talked about a major project of his being canceled, and I like him doing new IP. I like him rolling the dice and trying new stuff. Where Death Stranding wasn't necessarily for me. I know a lot of people did connect to it, but I would rather Hideo just make more bonkers stuff than iterate on something.
I agree. I think he's at his best when it's like going balls to the wall, trying something new that no one is expecting. So I'm 100% with you. I hope that it is not a sequel, and I hope that it is something new from Kojima. And to completely pivot that over on the DC side of things, it sounds like we're going to be getting another Batman game, which is probably some sort of Arkham Origins sequel reboot of some sort. And the rumor is that they're going to announce this at the Fandom event, which is happening at the end of August. And I think probably this is almost a foregone conclusion that we're going to get another Batman game, right? I feel like it's been a long time and people are desperate for it. Are you excited for a new Batman game?
It's inevitable. I saw a story yesterday and I can't confirm, I haven't seen it on IGN or a place that Hollywood Reporter hasn't said it, or Variety, but I saw the thing where they're just Ben Affleck has signed on with HBO Max to do more Batman content, and I'm just like, man, they just really don't care about continuity. They're just like, we're gonna have 6 Jokers and 5 Batman, and we're gonna make a Batman movie every week. Michael Keaton's gonna be Batman. It's just there's so all they have is Batman. It's
they've got Batman, man, and they are absolutely using it.
There's just so much Batman, and if there's a Suicide Squad game being made by by Rocksteady. Well, I guess the game's called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, which kind of sounds interesting. But if that's what Rocksteady's making, Batman's going to be in there. But then also WB Montreal is making this Court of Owls Batman game too. There's just so much. Our cup overfloweth, as you like to say, with Batman. There's so many bats.
Too many bats. You could make that argument.
Too many bats. So the next story is about Studio Trigger. And if you're not familiar with them, they make animation. And they are recently in the news because they're partnering with Cyberpunk 2077 to make a Cyberpunk anime. It's going to be on Netflix. That's all really exciting news. But then they came under immediate fire because there's unpaid employee wages out there. They're famous for Kill la Kill and Little Witch Academia, but everyone's just coming out and kind of crapping on them because there are unpaid wages of people who are like, yo, I did stuff for you, where's my money at? And it's just, as cool and as excited as you might be, just remember, sometimes people suck a big fat one.
Yeah, seriously, temper your expectations, because this is a core tenet. If someone does work for you, you pay them fairly. And definitely definitely dampers any excitement I had about this Cyberpunk show coming to Netflix. To be really honest, it makes me not excited at all. So
I think the internet's fun because it's always just like whenever something gets announced, they're like, "Oh, but remember, y'all, remember what you did." Like the internet always has the receipts ready, which
the
I'm
internet
a fan
never forgets. Exactly.
Yeah.
Once it's on there, it never forgets.
And it's funny because I'm saying I'm a fan of it now until they come for me, which I will not be a fan of.
They're like, "Remember Kingdom Tarts?" And we're like, "Oh God."
No.
We knew it would come back to bite us in the ass. Speaking of getting bitten in the ass, let's round out our extra time segment with the story about the Epic Games Store. Conan Exiles was originally marketed as a free giveaway for the platform this week, like they like to give away games almost every week. And then a couple days before it was supposed to be free, Epic Games Store actually decided that it would not only not be free anymore, but it would not even be on the platform the day that it was supposed to be out. And instead now will be available for purchase eventually. And so people are pretty upset about that because it sort of seemed like a promise that was just ripped away mere days before. Though at a certain point, it's like, come on, Epic gives away all these games for free constantly. And I get it. There was excitement for this game, but you weren't promised it. And it doesn't really hurt, I think, that they took it away ultimately.
I wonder why there wasn't more transparency with like all of this. Like maybe if they had said like this is the reason why, hey, the game needs bug fixing, or like maybe there's legality in like they can't, or maybe the game's just like in crap state and that's why they're like, oh, we're not going to make this a free game because it's garbage. So yeah, I wonder.
I don't know. It's hard to say for sure, but it does just provide the internet with more ammunition to hate all over the Epic Game Store, like they like to do. So poor Epic, they've really shot themselves in the foot with this one.
Well, yep. I mean, I don't feel bad for them. They make all the money in the universe,
so much money. And I think that about ends our extra time segment. Again, this is a segment provided by the GamePitch podcast. Catch us on Mondays, as well as a new show that distributes on the same channel on Wednesdays from Eli called Top 4 and More. Eli, what you got for us?
The game pitch is the goodness. The game pitch is the greatness. Pitch it
Pitch
always,
life.
baby. Game pitch for life. Bad boy. Because it's bad boys for life. Yeah, this is time to get out of here.
Thanks for listening, and we will catch you guys at the show on Apple, Spotify, Google, Podbean. We're on Twitter at GamePitch Podcast. Please follow us. We need people to look at our stupid jokes.
Bye, everybody.